Imagine picking up and leaving everything you know behind you, your family, job, culture, language, and lifestyle, to start a new life elsewhere. For most families, any move can be an extremely stressful experience, one that's compounded when relocating thousands of miles away from everything that's familiar. The Pulido family of Steinbach, Marisol, her husband Andreas, and their children emigrated to southeastern Manitoba 6 years ago from Colombia.
Well, actually, I was born in Venezuela, in South America, and my husband was born in Colombia. And I moved to Colombia when I was 3 or 4 years old, to a big city, the capital city of Colombia, Bogota.
Both Marisol and Andreas grew up in Bogota, a city of approximately 10 million.
It is a totally different picture there. There's lots of problems with traffic, and it's an insecure place to raise kids. People have forgotten about the values of life, right? We wanted to move to a place where life was going to have more value, family values, right? Our kids maybe more opportunities. They will have the chance to learn another language and maybe a third language with French. So those are basically our goal, and try to, build a different life here.
The Pulidos sold off everything they owned, packed up the kids, and left friends and family behind at the airport to begin a new life in southeastern Manitoba. The overall transition for the entire family hasn't been without its challenges.
I think you don't really think about it until you experience. You think about it, but the challenge, you face it just when you're here. And maybe when you're here, you have sold everything, you have left everything behind, and there's no way to go back, right? So you may come to a different country and a month later say wow, I made a mistake. But you have to think, look forward instead of think on your past and miss everything you left behind, and be patient, because that's the whole process of adaptation.
Aside from the obvious cultural differences and language barrier issues that the Pulidos experienced while adapting to their new surroundings, Marisol says that one of the biggest challenges they faced was their feeling of isolation.
Not having anybody to talk with, to share our emotions at that point, because your emotions are just like a roller coaster. It's mixed feelings of having the happiness of being in a new place, trying a new life, being together, having so many expectations, but not having anybody around you to say hey, we're just doing this or doing that. It was hard to communicate with our families. We didn't have a computer, or we have to use the telephone cards to phone, and it was expensive for us at that point. That was hard. We felt lonely, very lonely.
It's been a huge adjustment for the Pulidos career-wise as well. Upon their arrival in Manitoba, Andreas took a job in a hog barn run by Maple Leaf Agri-Farms, a far cry from his profession back in Colombia.
Well, he was a hockey coach at the international school. He worked extracurricular activities there. And hockey coach, right? Moving to Canada and not being able, not even to volunteer as a hockey coach, because he was inline hockey coach, rollers. There's a whole different scenario there. He was not with kids anymore. He was with hogs. And they're loud like kids, but they're a totally different story.
The road that Marisol has taken to return to her career as a teacher here in Canada has been a bumpy one as well.
First, I did various jobs, and I work at the Steinbach Arts Center, because my background is also fitness and physical education, and so I work as a fitness instructor, I work as a dance teacher, and I work as as a Spanish teacher there, like a kind of an informal way, but it was good. It was good that I had the opportunity to do that. And but I had to go back to school to upgrade everything here, and that was a big challenge for me. I took summer courses because I really wanted to finish this fast and be able to have an income with my new certificate, because it was just a big financial decision that we have to make there, right? Like we had to invest in this and that in order to get some, just a document that certified me as a teacher here. So, but we did it.
Another struggle for the Pulidos was simply the feeling that they didn't fit in with the rest of the community.
It's been hard. It's been hard. Like our key to get involved with the community was like actually getting into performing for the community events and having to use our gifts with the community, and we started to actually get to know people, and right, like they started to get to know us, but it took us a couple years.
While Marisol and her family have embraced their new life here in southeastern Manitoba, she does wish that the community could see the immigrant experience from her perspective.
Maybe for them I'll say, like, just imagine for a second that you will have to, not that you would, because then you will say like, well, I wouldn't. You have to move to a country where you don't speak the language, and then you have to start a new life there. Imagine what would be your fears and your thoughts and your challenges. What would you think? And we're in somebody else's shoes, and try to think what would be good for that person to have. I had so many questions, and not all of them came to my mind when I met somebody. And the first question of everybody is like, where are you coming from? Why did you move here? And I have to answer those like, I don't even know how many times, hundreds, right? But sometimes I didn't went further than that, and I wanted to.
The past 6 years have been a learning experience for the Pulidos, and Marisol says they're excited about what the future has in store for them.
It's been very challenging, but looking back, I'm so glad that we make this move in our lives, and I'm glad what we have achieved here as a family. I'm glad that we have contributed to this community in the way that we have, and I'm glad to have meet the right people in the right places for a reason. So I have built strong relationships, and I can't regret that. It is awesome. And looking forward, I just see my future here, as a growing family and very established family-friendly environment. And we have learned lots of things from this community as well. We have gained so much values and appreciation for things that we didn't maybe believed before. So I'm so glad that we moved here, and for some reason we're now. I believe we're different. We're different people now, way better.
For Steinbach Online, I'm Karen Black.